all the conversations that I get to moderate, the ones right here at the SAG-AFTRA Foundation really are the best because, first of all, look at this intimate crowd, and second of all, nobody is more passionate about acting than actors. That's for sure. This film, The Burnt Orange Heresy, premiered at the Venice and Toronto Film Festivals last September. And now that you've seen the film, we're going to have a conversation right now. My name is Scott Mantz, and please welcome the director of The Burnt Orange Heresy, Giuseppe Capotondi. And last time I saw this gentleman face to face, he was clean shaven, but it was right here at the Foundation for the Square. Please welcome back Claes Bang.
Hey.
You know, there is a timeless feel to this movie. It could have come out in the 50s, the 60s, or, you know, the 20s, the roaring 20s of the 21st century. But first, how did this come about? And, you know, why the change of locations from the original source material?
Yeah, well, shooting in Florida is obviously very expensive. And Palm Beach was off limit for obvious reasons. So we decided to move it to Lake Como. Also, I think that the location itself kind of matches the sophistication of the dialogues and gives that feeling of moodiness. And
what other changes did you make to the original book, which I think came out in like 71?
71, yeah. Well, Berenice, for example, was a marginal character in the book, while here she's got a proper story. And what else did we do? The ending, we changed the ending. Yeah. But I mean, the theme chords are still there, so we didn't really, mangle it.
Well,
maybe we did.
Someone asked, like, you know, when you're approaching a character like this, or any role for that matter, like in this case, what was your point of connection?
With this one, I always try to look for something that resonates with myself, so that's my sort of vain hope that I can put some authenticity into it by sort of taking something from myself and putting it in there. And for this one, it was he's very ambitious, and he'll go to sort of any length to get back into the art world that he's been now kicked out of. And I can totally connect with that. I mean, I hope I don't go as far as he goes, but
you never know.
Yeah, we hope.
I can't promise anything. No, I hope that, but I am very ambitious also. I can totally connect with that thing of being very ambitious. So that was sort of the sort of starting point. That sort of really resonates with me. So, and then obviously other stuff, but I think that was sort of where it started. Yeah.
You know, the tone of this film, you know, you're really trying to maintain this, like, where is this going feeling, really up until the last possible moment. What are the challenges, Giuseppe, to sort of maintain that while you're filming?
Well, I mean, obviously most of it is in the script already, so the challenges are always the same when you do a movie. I mean, it's budget and time, and we shot this in 25 days, which was a bit of a rush.
Man.
Yeah.
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 We were busy.
Yeah.
How
I mean,
many
it's
pages would
quite
you-
contained. It's like 4 locations and 4 actors, talking and then killing each other. But
And it brings you back to the art world. I mean, after you're a curator in the Square, now you're a critic, artist yourself in this film. Like, is there it's a coincidence, I'm guessing, right?
No, I only do films that are set in the art world. Only. I will not work in anything else. No, it is a coincidence, but it actually took me a while, and then I realized, fuck, this could actually be the continued story of what happened to the guy in the Square, because he loses his job in a big museum, and this one has just lost his job in a big museum for different reasons, but still. But I don't think the guy in the Square could, end up doing what this one does. I think he goes to lengths that are perhaps off limits for the other character. Yeah.
Well, what kind of conversations did you have between each other in terms of developing, advancing the story? I mean, it shot in 25 days. I mean, that's mighty fast. So, what kind of conversations did you have to between the two of you, really, to sort of keep the tone of the film?
Well, I think one thing that was really important to us was to sort of establish that I don't think that he knows at any point in the story that he will end up a killer. I don't think he knows that he's capable of it. I don't think, and actually I don't think when he whacks her with that ashtray, I don't think he actually means to kill her. He just means to shut her the fuck up. Yeah, which works. But I think, I mean, so in that sense, we were quite cautious that we didn't sort of put anything in there where you sort of get this feeling that he's like a psychopath just waiting to unfold. I mean, we wanted him to be sort of a very ambitious but a real guy, but not yeah.
So not a killer, no.
No.
There's a Hitchcockian element to it of a ordinary man in an extraordinary circumstance who gets in over his head, especially with a woman who may or may not be a femme fatale. I mean, Elizabeth Debicki was marvelous in this movie, and really keeps you guessing what side is she on up until the last possible moment. So tell me about casting her and working with her.
Well, as for with Claes, I was looking for somebody obviously very talented, but with a look that could reminded us, the old film stars, like Kim Novak or Cary Grant. That sort of allure that it's not so easy to find anymore. Because I wanted this film to have that kind of old school film noir feel to it. So, what was the question again?
The other question, first one question was casting, which you just answered. But what about working with her?
Well, working with her was it was really amazing. But I mean, the thing that really sort of drew me to this in the beginning was actually all those scenes that we have together, because I was like, it's so weird and twisted and fucked up, that relationship, and I just was like, whoa, what's this, what's happening here? And I couldn't wait to just start doing it, and I didn't at this point. I'd only just seen Elizabeth in the film. I hadn't met her, so I mean, like we've talked about this before, and sometimes it can go wrong, and sometimes you don't have the chemistry. But here, we sort of connected really, really well, and I think we also had sort of a mutual understanding of keeping. I mean, it's really important that you keep the tension, and you don't. And it's always like, so who's he and who's she, and why are they? And you need to balance it. So it's not really. It can't sort of be. It has to be set in the middle, sort of, that you don't sort of see her or him as the more treacherous character. I mean, it has to be that you're equally with them in a way. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah. Because you don't want to lose empathy for the
no, it's important that you
protagonist.
sort of like, I mean, and I don't know why doesn't she just come out and fucking say what she's all about? I mean, that would have saved her so much trouble. Really. She could have just told me that she was from, where is she from? Boise, Minnesota. Fucking hell, man. But no, she wouldn't tell me.
Well, she tried.
Well, she tried.
She didn't listen.
But that was too late. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But that chemistry that you're talking about, I mean, when you get that, it's gold. To get that, it's gold in a romantic comedy or a romance, but on a sort of mysterious, suspenseful movie like this, a Hitchcockian movie, like what kind of prep did you have beforehand? With Elizabeth?
Very little, actually. We met at Giuseppe's house in London for a lunch that turned into dinner, that turned into drinks real late. So we sat there for like...
I paid for the wine.
Yeah, yes. And we drank it. But we met, and that was like, we met, and then we went to Italy, and we did a read-through of the script, just the three of us.
Very quick one.
And that was more or less it, in a way.
When you have 25 days to shoot, how many pages a day did you shoot Like, what was the heaviest day in terms of how many pages you
I
shot?
mean, you know, there were dialogues of 10 pages.
Yeah.
You know, so.
But I think it's also that's also the reason why you can actually do it, because if it was like 200 little scenes where you had to change the camera and lights for everything, then you couldn't do it in 25 days. But there are scenes in there that are quite long, and they are dialogue driven. So I think that's why it's actually possible to do it, because otherwise we couldn't have if we'd had like 10 different locations and I mean. So that made it easier. That is, it's quite dense, because it's actually almost like a chamber play, isn't it? It's like a quite condensed little thing with 4 people in it.
Well, you know, we take questions here at the Foundation on these really pretty red cards, and this one is from Akila. Akila, you here? Well, Akila's question, which goes along with what my next question was going to be anyway, was, I mean, Mick Jagger was amazing in this movie. And it's his first movie in like almost 20 years since
Elysian Field?
Man from Elysian Fields. So how? Why?
We bribed him. Giuseppe knows something about Mick Jagger that cannot come out.
True. By chance, or luck, really. We heard I was looking for a last role to play. So we sent a script. He liked it. I went to see him in London, which was very unnerving because, you know, Mick Jagger. But he's actually a very sweet and approachable person. So it was very easy at the end, no, to work with him.
Oh, absolutely, very, yeah. He's really a team player. I was like, I mean, he was just really there to just do whatever was right for the movie.
Even waking up at 8 in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
That is something that is apparently something he's not really keen on. But we made him do it anyway, yeah.
You know, when you first see him, you go, oh, that's Mick Jagger. But immediately you forget that, and you just get into the role. And that's what a good actor does. You forget that you're watching the actor, and you just get into the character. What did you sort of observe about his technique of acting? Because certainly we've observed a lot of his technique on stage.
Yeah, I mean, I don't actually do that. I think I just do go with what people do. I don't sit there and think, whoa, that's a very weird technique. Or I just act with whatever comes, I suppose. I mean, I'm not going to be the judge of how he wants to approach it. I think the thing that was really cool about him is that he's a fucking amazing icon, and he just comes through the door like any other actor, really, and was very humble, and it was very important to him to do exactly what was needed in order to get the story right. And I suppose that is, I mean, if you could, that's probably describing the perfect actor in a way, because that is what you want. I mean, someone who will put himself out there at the disposal of the story. To me.
Do you what was it like between takes? You know, I mean, did people kind of like, you know, oh,
between takes he got his guitar out, and then he went through the whole catalogue of all the Rolling Stones songs. Very entertaining, and a little bit of a pressure when you only have 25 days to shoot it, because shut the fuck up, Mick Jagger. We have heard that song.
What about, I mean, Donald Sutherland is also, you know, I mean, fantastic in this role. I mean,
Yeah, I think the role...
another icon, but for different reasons. So tell us about working with him. I mean, you know, he's been acting for, you know,
Yeah,
6
I mean,
decades,
it's
so.
not that you really direct Donald Sutherland. You know, he's Donald Sutherland. He's gonna slap your face. But you talk to him before, and you talk about the character, how you see it, how you would like it to be, and then, you know, it's not that you go there and say, "Can you do this tiny bit bigger?" No, it doesn't work like that. So
Lake Como really, you took really good advantage of the changing location. Lake Como really felt like a character in the film, almost like Vienna in The Third Man. What was it like to shoot there, and was it just like as beautiful as it looks on the screen?
No, it is beautiful, and the Lake Como is so steep because it's in between mountains, 3,000 or 4,000 meters high, that you rarely get direct sunlight. So it's always very dark, even if it's sunny. And
Everything. Shade.
yeah, and I think it works for the mood of the film.
There's a line that really stuck out at me, only because not even a month ago, someone had asked me if I thought that film criticism was an art, and I said yes, because you know you are. Then there's this line in the film that art wouldn't exist without criticism. What's your take?
Which
on
is
that?
true.
This is true, right? You agree with that?
Contemporary art, yeah, for sure.
Well, I think, I mean, it's like a big, we all play different parts in this whole big thing, and I think criticism is as an important part of the whole thing. That's not to say that I'm very good at reading it, because I get really upset and offended if someone writes shit about me. But I think, I mean, it does, I mean, a good review in terms of has this person actually really fucking seen this, can actually also, I mean, sometimes you learn something from it. Yeah, you do. I think you do. I mean, it's when it gets mean and it's like just demeaning or whatever. It's that's of no use. But I mean, I do think that sometimes I have read stuff where I'm like, whoa, that's interesting. That might actually be something to think about next time. Or so. I mean, yeah. So I think it's like, but I also think that, I mean, I think there is a quite interesting point that he actually sort of makes in the beginning, where he's sort of saying, so this painting, that was just all lies. I painted this, it's crap, and we can all see that. And this was only just to tell all of you, just be careful with people like me, because you can't trust us.
Yeah, but even that one was a lie.
And even that was a lie, yeah. But I mean, the thing is that, I mean, with these things, and I suppose this goes to like any kind of thing that you hear or people to try to tell you, that, I mean, trust yourself, and I mean, just ask yourself, what do I think here, and don't trust anybody else.
Absolutely. You know, this up until the very last moment, the movie does leave you guessing. And what was it like to really make a film that never tells you, you never feel like you know what the story is until right before the ending credits?
Well, unfortunately, I had read the script, so I knew.
You did, but we didn't.
But actually, we changed. That's one thing that we actually did change in the script, but also in the book, because I mean, at the end of the original script, he goes bonkers in that gallery, and he's like, "I painted that," and everybody's like, "Yeah, right." And then he goes crazy, and then they call the police, and he's taken. Yeah, but we thought it was a much more terrible prison to be in if he was left like this, where you're like, well, no, where he's like, probably Jagger's character knows everything that, and he now owns me, and he has to live with the guilt and the shame and all that shit.
There's no absolution for James.
Exactly. No sort of conclusion, no absolution. We thought that was more right.
Yes, stronger. Yeah,
Yeah.
More real.
What are some of the things that you love about making a movie on such a tight schedule? You know, that there's no
Nothing.
Nothing.
Well, I mean, there's doing it during the filming is not really all that much fun, because it's really a lot of pressure. But now it's like you said a little earlier. What did you say?
About like love stories?
Yes.
You only remember the good bits?
Exactly. So we only remember the good bits now. No, but it's really cool that a decent film has come out of it, because when you're there and it's just so stressful, and you leave and you think, fuck, did we actually get today what we wanted to get? And I've got an idea that I didn't try out, and all that shit. Yeah. All that. So I think it's a little bit tough to shoot something on such a tight schedule.
When you get to edit the film, and a lot of filmmakers say that's where they really make the movie, is in the editing. When did you start to feel, or maybe it was during the filming, when did you start to feel like, yeah, I got this, or even that it was turning out even better than you had hoped?
Well, when you shoot, if you're getting something out of the actors, you already know. But yeah, then during the edit, of course, you start to see the shape of things, and it's usually a nice surprise.
What surprised you about your actors? Like, what was that? What was the scene that you shot that you like went, whoa?
Oh, many of them. I mean, I was very lucky with the actors. I think they are all terrific. Well, I have different favorite scene for each of them. Claes, for example, is the beginning. The lecture he does. He it's just fantastic there. Then it's all downhill.
You start out and then
But he really got what I wanted, and he keeps repeating the same gestures, in the rehearsal and in the actual lecture. Unfortunately, is very talented.
What makes Giuseppe a great actor's director?
Well, in the beginning, I was like, whoa, why is he not saying anything? And because, he's like, it seemed that you really like what we did. And then I was like, don't you think we should do one more? Because I've got one more idea. And no, it's fine. And then he would Giuseppe rolls a lot of cigarettes. So he would roll his little cigarette and go and smoke it. I was like, fuck. But actually, I think a couple of times I did say, I think we should do one more. I know there's something I want to fix here. And after those takes, you said, well, that was a good idea to do that, because we did get something else. Or more.
Of course.
Yeah.
You also have to balance.
No, but it's a very, very... No, but what I fucking really like about it is that you seem to really trust us. And once you feel that, that's important.
That's the main thing,
Yeah. Because
Otherwise,
as much as I love the guy that did the Square, Ruben Östlund, and he's really a good friend of mine, but I had the feeling all the time he doesn't fucking trust me. He's like, and Ruben has this thing where he does like 100 takes, so you get the feeling that I'm not really getting this. That's very different with you.
well, also because we had 25 days, he had 70.
Yeah, he had like a lot more, that's true. But yeah, and that scene, that lecture thing, I said to Giuseppe, can we please, when we do it, because we were shooting this in Italy, and not a lot of people in Italy actually speak English. So I said, can we actually sit people in the audience that understand what I say? And I don't think they were able to find any, because they were all sleeping. They were fucking all sleeping. It's like, whoa, man, this is really, really tough. And I think we shot the actual lecture on the second to last date, and we shot all the stuff in the apartment where I rehearsed it in the beginning. So to remember the whole fucking thing of when I point to what, it was like terrible, and they were all just sleeping in front of me. They didn't understand
real life,
They didn't understand a fucking word I was saying, and they were just, oh my God. On that day, I actually didn't like you so much.
Looks like I asked a really good question, huh? Every film, everything, every short, every TV show, everything is different. There's always things that you're going to learn. You're always going to be learning, or you're not living. You'll always have to learn. So what were the takeaways for you, the things that you learned as a director, things that you learned as an actor?
To be very patient with actors. To work fast.
You work fast.
Yeah. And well, to try and have fun. It's not like open heart surgery. It's a film, so you should have fun while making it. And I think we had fun.
Yeah. What did I learn? I don't know. That you can actually do something really fast and it can turn out quite all right. But I'm not very good at losing control. I'm totally a control freak. I just want to, I want to sit and watch every take I've done. I want to remember it and I want to phone Giuseppe and say, for this scene, you should use mainly take 2, because that was the only one that was good. I mean, something. So I don't like to work this fast where I totally lose everything, all the control. So perhaps the thing to learn is that can actually work, but that's not something I'm gonna. It's going to be a long way down the line. It's not something. I don't know.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, please do spread the word about the Burnt Orange Heresy. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for joining us. SAG-AFTRA Foundation. Thank you, gentlemen.